Welcome back to another episode of the Diddyknowsball show, man. Um, I'm be talking some women's college basketball, of course, because I've been enamored with the March Madness. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, South Carolina, it's a whole bunch of storylines, whole bunch of stuff to cover. I'm gonna be talking about why I'm not writing off the 2024 NBA draft class, why you shouldn't sleep on Joel Embiid and the 76ers. And I got some casual boxing takes because I watched Richardson Hitchins fight Lemos. So I got a couple things to say about that. But let's go and get into the show, man. So women's college basketball and women's basketball update in general. So by now we all know Caitlin Clark in Iowa just beat LSU and Angel Reese. Then they just backdoored in the Final Four and beat Paige Beckers and UConn. I'm gonna get to my recap on the UConn game because it was very controversial and a lot of people had a lot to say. Before I get into that, let's talk Diana Taurasi. She came out and she said these players that are coming into the draft for the WNBA, they're gonna come into the WNBA. They are gonna have a reality check. She's mainly talking about Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. She also said after a game, Angel Reese, wave bye bye to your career. She also said she would take Paige Beckers over Caitlin Clark. Now, Diana Taurasi, I'm not gonna disrespect her because say it out. When you watch, I seen Diana Taurasi in her prime in the WNBA. She was a dog, bro. Like real talk. Diana Taurasi can hoop, not just for a girl. She's a hooper's hooper, man. Like I love Diana Taurasi game. In my opinion, when she was playing, she was the best player in her prime in the WNBA. In my opinion, it was her and Maya Moore, but she had more staying power than Maya Moore. Maya Moore dipped off kind of quick. She had a lot going on. But Diana Taurasi really one of the ones, man. Top 5, top 10, top 3, just depending on how you value Diana Taurasi in the women's game. With that being said, man, hater shit. Hater shit. Them comments was hater shit. And you could tell this hater shit because you telling Angel Reese way bye-bye to her career. I'm not the biggest Angel Reese fan in terms of her game. I think she got a lot to work on. She got a lot to work on. But the star power, the dog, the rebounding is unquestionable. Her career is not over. Even if she had to go to the WNBA and be a role player, she could be a superstar role player she buys in. But off the court, she's a superstar forever. Angel Reese gonna be a star forever, bro. She just did Vogue. Don't tell me that's your model if you ain't been in Vogue. She done been in Vogue. So her career's not over, neither in basketball or other endeavors. So that was unnecessary for her to even say. Now, taking Paige Beckers over Caitlin Clark is also ridiculous because we just seen how that went. And I'm going to get to that recap in a minute. We just seen how that went. Caitlin Clark on a different level, bro. It is what it is. It is what it is. What JC say? You had a spark when you started. Now I ain't saying she garbage. She had a spark when she started. Paige Beckers was better than Caitlin Clark at the beginning of their college careers, during their high school careers. Caitlin Clark has caught up and surpassed Paige Beckers, bro. The injuries, she was getting injured while Caitlin Clark was getting better. And I love Paige. I really like Paige. And what she did with UConn this year with a depleted roster, being the best player on that team, she led them as far as she can lead them. Get into a Final Four like this, and she's coming back to college, so she's most likely gonna be the favorite to win Player of the Year next year, and they gonna be most likely the favorite to win a championship next year. But with all that being said, Caitlin Clark's on a different level, and everybody can see it. Diana Taurasi taking Paige Beckers over Caitlin Clark was a little jab at Caitlin, and it was just to big up her UConn family. So I just had to address Diana Taurasi because it's a lot of WNBA players coming out talking about what these girls are going to do when they get to WNBA. And I will admit, the WNBA got the best girls in the world. They do. They do. Not girls, the best women in the world. They do. Like when I said it in the video on my second channel, Diddyknowsball, that Angel Reese is gonna get hit with this reality check because you go have the Ineka Ogumakays, you go have the Satu Sablés, not to mention the Asia Wilsons and Breonna Stewarts. So it's gonna be a reality check. It's gonna be a reality check. It is. The players are better in the WNBA. The college players are more popular, and they gonna bring more eyeballs, more revenue. We're not gonna sit up here and act like Caitlin Clark just when it comes to the WNBA and be the automatic MVP. That's not gonna happen. She might be a top 10 player. She might help the Fever get to the playoffs and all that. I do think she's a transcendent talent, and I do think she's generational, and I think she will translate, and I do think she's very worthy of the number one pick. But she's not dominating the WNBA day one. She's not coming into the WNBA being the best player. She's not better than Asia Wilson already. She's not better than Breonna Stewart already. I'm not putting her over Jackie Young already. I'm not putting her over Kelsey Plum already. She got a lot to do, man. She got a lot to do. Ryan Howard, Aaliyah Boston, those girls was part of this new era as well. And I think they cold. Both rookie of the years in the WNBA. Ryan Howard, I think she's the girl version of KD. She's personally one of my favorites. I love Ryan Howard. I really do. Aaliyah Boston, superstar. But hey, best of the best. So I do agree with Diana Taurasi on that. A lot of these girls going to the WNBA is gonna get hit with a reality check. But yeah. Now, let's get to the game, man. Let's get to the game. So Iowa versus UConn. I have some notes here. But to start the game, I wanted to just see if the LSU game was Iowa's Super Bowl. And when I say that, I mean this. We all seen teams that have these revenge games or have these matchups in whether it be an NCAA tournament, whether it be the playoffs in the NBA, NFL, or any other sporting event, that it's a team that they're playing that they're looking forward to playing the most. And for Iowa, it was LSU. So once they got them out the way, I wanted to see what their energy intensity was going to look like against UConn. And in the first half, but mainly the first quarter, I thought UConn was going to smash them. But the thing about UConn in that first half, when we just talking about the game, because Nico Mule played great defense on Caitlin Clark, that's true. But nobody was hitting shots on Iowa. Caitlin Clark wasn't hitting shots that she's possibly could hit and that she's known for hitting. Kate Martin wasn't hitting shots. Gabby Marshall wasn't hitting shots in the first quarter. The only player that played great start to finish was Hannah Storky. So those guys struggled. When I talk about those guys, I'm talking about Caitlin Clark, Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall. They struggled from three. They couldn't get anything going. And UConn never put their foot on Iowa's neck. They never did. This was the type of game where they were supposed to have a 15-point lead at halftime. I think it was only up like 4 to 6 points at halftime. Paige Beckers was 3 from 9. Aaliyah Edwards I think she only had like 4 points in that first half. I think she ended up getting benched. They was talking about that. And for as bad as Caitlin Clark played in that first half, Paige Beckers was right along there with her. Paige Beckers didn't play like no superstar in that first half. She didn't. She didn't. Paige Beckers was getting guarded very well by Gabby Marshall. They eventually gave Paige Beckers the ball on cuts. They posted her up a little bit. I really wish they would have did that more to take advantage of her size over Gabby Marshall. But with that being said, Paige Beckers didn't outplay Caitlin Clark in this game at all. Even though Caitlin Clark had one of her worst games of the tournament. She had a bad game. Or just a game not up to her standards. And Paige didn't play that much better. Let's just keep it a buck. I thought Hannah Stokey outplayed Aaliyah Edwards. Let's just keep it up. I thought Kate Martin came on in that second half. Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark had a good third quarter. The thing that separated them in this game was the fourth quarter. Caitlin Clark and Kate Martin, they took over. They made the most plays down the stretch. Even Gabby Marshall hit that three. Now, Paige did have her moments, but she also had her mishaps. She did. She missed that corner three. They could have tied. They could have brought them within like 1 point, I think. And I'm not dissing Paige Beckers, but if you told me that Caitlin Clark was 3 for 11 from three, if you told me Caitlin Clark didn't hit a three in the whole first half, I would have said, "Say, man, you can't probably they whooped on them." But Gino Auriemma even came out when he was getting interviewed. He said they're not gonna miss shots forever. And then in the second half, they hit shots. They hit shots. And and even with that being said, UConn had a chance. UConn should have won the game. They should have been up more points going into the second half. And they didn't. They didn't take advantage of the opportunities they had. Now, there was a bad call. That screen, that illegal screen on Aaliyah Edwards, that was a bad call. The free throw discrepancy between Iowa and UConn, you can be looked at a little sideways. But I'm one of them dudes. I'm not putting a whole game on one play, one bad call, because you have 4 quarters. If they would have put their foot on Iowa's neck in that first half, when Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall, and most importantly, Caitlin Clark weren't hitting shots, they would have won that game. If Paige Beckers would have played better in that first half and fourth quarter, they would have won that game. If Aaliyah Edwards would have played better and didn't get benched, had more than 4 points in that first half, they would have won the game. I understand UConn was undermanned and a whole bunch of things like that. That one call was a bad call. But you don't lose a basketball game after one bad call. They didn't get the rebound after the Caitlin Clark missed free throw. It was a lot. It was a lot. UConn played a big part in their loss, man. It wasn't just the refs. Yeah. Okay, that's enough of that. Iowa versus South Carolina. Iowa versus South Carolina. I think this is a tough one, bro. It's a tough one. I love Dawn Staley. Bro. I think she's next in line to be one of the great coaches in women's college basketball. She's gonna be right up there with the Vanderveers, right up there with the Pat Summits, right up there with the Gino Auriemmas. I think she's gonna be right there. I think her aura, her energy, her positive messaging. I love her. Say that she had that Louis V jacket on. I rocks with it. I rocks with the Louis V jacket she had on. She got swag, and she one of us. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. I mess with Dawn Staley, but I will say this: this is a classic David and Goliath story. Ain't no way South Carolina's undefeated. They kind of rolled through everybody in the NCAA tournament. They pretty much rolled through everybody in the SEC tournament outside of. It was a good game against LSU. It was a good game against Tennessee where Cardoso hit the game winner three. But they pretty much they undefeated, man. I think they 37-0 at this point. They was upset by Iowa last season. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's hard for me to go against South Carolina in this game. Now, when I'm looking at the personnel, I'm looking at South Carolina, who they got. It's a David versus Goliath story. Camila Cardoso is projected to be a top 5 pick in the WNBA draft. Tahina Powell is one of the best shooters in America. Ashlyn Watkins is a wing, very versatile, very athletic. Raven Johnson has stepped up and she's become a better 3-point shooter. I just don't see a way where Iowa wins this game, me being honest, if I'm looking at it on paper. But we all know basketball isn't played on paper. It isn't. But on paper, South Carolina should win this game, and they should win this game by at least 10. That's if everything is real. But if I was a betting man, I would bet on South Carolina. But just something tells me that I don't know, bro. Caitlin Clark and Iowa, their chemistry is just so good. Caitlin Clark is so good. I think the matchup I'm looking forward to the most is Hannah Storkey and Camila Cardoso, though, because I think the backcourts could potentially cancel each other out. The shooting of Tahina Powell, the defense of Ashlyn Watkins, if they do put her on Caitlin Clark, they got a game plan they could see from UConn. They could put Ashlyn Watkins on them. I think between Ashlyn Watkins, Raven Johnson, Tahina Powell, Malaysia Fuwali, she's the X factor for South Carolina, in my opinion. I think she's the girl version of Allen Iverson. I think she should be mentioned right up there with the Juju Watkins, the Hannah Hidalgos. I really like Malaysia Fuwali. But I just think the backcourt of South Carolina ultimately could cancel out either from three or just scoring in general of the backcourt from Iowa, and that includes Caitlin Clark and Kate Martin. I think Camila Cardoso will be just too much for Hannah Storkey. I don't see how Iowa pulls this off, but if they do, I think Caitlin Clark has to go for at least 40. I think Hannah Storkey has to have a double-double. I think Kate Martin has to hit big shots. I think Gabby Marshall. I just think the size on the perimeter is going to be a problem for Iowa. Maybe I'm thinking too in depth in this because it's one game, but anything can happen. But I just don't see how Iowa could overcome that size. They got perimeter shooting, they got perimeter defense, and I don't see where there's no advantage outside of Caitlin Clark that Iowa has, and I think even Caitlin Clark could be neutralized to a certain extent. So I'm going with South Carolina. But I will say this. If Caitlin Clark and Iowa pulls this off, this will be the single greatest run in basketball that I've seen with my own two eyes since Dirk in 2011. Now, yeah, I said it. This will be the single greatest run that I've seen since Dirk in 2011. Because if you look at that run, Dirk and the Mavericks, they beat OKC. I'm gonna do it in order. They beat the Lakers with Kobe and Powell after they win all them championships. They beat the Thunder with KD, Westbrook, and Harden. Then they backdoored and beat Miami and the Heatles. If Caitlin Clark could beat Angel Reese in LSU, she can beat UConn and Paige Beckers, Gino Auriemma, and then backdoor and beat an undefeated South Carolina team, Camila Cardoso and Dawn Staley. That championship, I'll look at it like Dirk's. It's one, but it's one of them ones. And I would definitely look at Caitlin Clark as one of the best women's basketball players to ever play in college basketball, and she go be on them list. So I heard what Breonna Stewart said. She needs a ring. And I do think a ring is necessary. But boy, if Caitlin Clark get a ring, and if she plays well in this championship game, that one ring, I ain't gonna say it's gonna equal up to 4 like what Breonna Stewart has. But that one ring, it's gonna mean a lot, bro. It's gonna mean a lot. Now it's time to get into why I'm not writing off the 2023 NBA draft class. Why I'm not writing off the 2024 NBA draft class. I think I might have said 23 class earlier. I meant to say 24. My bad. But I'm not ready to write this class off. And it's a few reasons. Before I tackle that, I just kind of want to let y'all into y'all remember the last class they said was weak. The last draft class that they said was weak was the 2020 NBA draft. There was a lot of talk about Anthony Edwards because he was on that bad Georgia team and not knowing if he was going to commit. They used to question Ant motor, believe it or not. They used to question Ant's motor. They said Anthony Edwards, he need to work on his defense. They just questioned a lot of things that in hindsight, which hindsight is 2020, that Anthony Edwards was clearly a superstar potential. He clearly was a guy that you couldn't pass up on, number one, hindsight. The 3 that they talked about that was all supposed to be considered for number one, and it was no true number one, and that was the reason why the draft class was weak because there was nobody considered the true number one. They had James Wiseman from Memphis. They had LaMelo Ball, who was playing overseas in Australia for the Illawarra Hawks. I can't even say that, but y'all remember there was questions around LaMelo Ball's inefficiency. It was questions around James Wiseman's health because he didn't play much at Memphis. But overall, they said the class was weak. And y'all even remember Tyrese Halliburton? I think he even came out and what did he do? He had tweeted about it or something like that, put it on the ground or something. He's like, yeah, they said my class was weak. 2020 class wasn't weak. That was the last class they said was weak. Now let's go over the 2020 draft class because they're in year 4. So pretty much they are what they are at this point. So let's just look at the 2024 class. I got it pulled up. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to do it like this. So let's look at the class. You have notable players. You got Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Halliburton, LaMelo Ball, Desmond Bain, Devin Vassell, Emmanuel Quickly, Jamie Daniels, Denny Otvia, and Cole Anthony, just to name a few. Now, when I think about this class, I look at a guy like Anthony Edwards, who a lot of people, including myself, could think he could be the best player on the championship team. I look at a guy like Tyrese Maxey. I think he could be clearly a number 2 on the championship team. Tyrese Halliburton, as much as I'm not the biggest fan of Tyrese Halliburton, I think he could be the point guard for a championship team. Now, with all that being said, there's also secondary stars in the 2020 class. You got a guy like Desmond Bain. You got a guy like Devin Vassell. You got a guy in Emmanuel Quickly and Cole Anthony, guys who could be 6 men of the year candidates. You got shutdown wing defenders, versatile pieces in Jaden McDaniels, D. Ivy. It was other guys like Isaac Okoro, Jalen Smith, Obi Toppin, role player guys that aren't bad either. This class was a solid class in my opinion. It's not weak like they tried to make it seem. It's not weak. It's not weak. Now, let's go to the 2021 draft class that everybody said was just so strong. Look at the 21 draft class. It don't look as good as it once was highly touted. Because y'all remember Jonathan Gavoni? He was saying Kate Cunningham was like, nah, he didn't say it. It was Jalen with Jay Williams. Jay Williams. He said Kate Cunningham reminded him of Grant Hill and Carmelo Anthony. Jonathan Gavoni said Kate Cunningham reminded him of Luka Doncic. Jay Williams said Jalen Suggs reminded him of Jason Kidd with some Dame in him. I like Jalen Suggs, but come on now. Come on now. Scotty Barnes. Jonathan Gavoni. I love Scotty Barnes. Jonathan Gavoni said he was Giannis. I'm just giving y'all what these people on ESPN were saying about this 21 class. This 21 class was supposed to be special, bro. I'm not saying it's bad, but it was supposed to be special. It was supposed to be special. They said Jalen Green, Jonathan Gavoni, said Jalen Green was like a Kobe Bryant, a young Kobe Bryant, or Tracy McGrady. Bill Simmons. I love Bill Simmons to death. I love his sports opinion. He said Evan Mobley had some Tim Duncan in him. Y'all remember that? People was comparing Evan Mobley to Tim Duncan, KG. I'm just saying, man, this 21 class, they in year 3. I like Sengun. I like Franz Wagner. I'm not sold on K. I'm not gonna lie. Jalen Suggs and Herb Jones, I think they two of the best, two top 10 role players in the NBA. Jalen Green has been coming on as of late. Kuminga has been coming on as of late. Jalen Johnson has emerged. Evan Mobley, I think he's a good defender, man. He's damn near finna be in that role player category, man. He should be in that role player category. Now, y'all just tell me which class would you rather have, 2020 or 2021? Because they said 2020 was weak and 2021 was special. Y'all heard the comps. All we heard was questions for the 2020 class. I'm just saying, man. Especially at the top. 21 was supposed to be special at the top. 2020 had all the questions at the top. That's why I'm not ready to write off the 2024 class, even though I'm not sold like everybody else. So let's look at the 2024 class. Just looking at the top 12, because I can go to further detail, but I'm just going to look at the top 12, comparing the 2024 class to 2025 class. 25 class is supposed to be special. The 24 class is supposed to be the worst class a lot of people said they've seen. Now, the 24 class and the 2023 class in high school, they the 23 class in high school, but it's going to be the 2024 draft class. Isaiah Collier, Ron Holland, Justin Edwards, DJ Wagner, Modest Buzelis, Aaron Bradshaw, Cody Williams, Jacoby Walter, Mackenzie Mbako, Jared McCain, Omaha Baloo, Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle has came on late. Damn. Isaiah Collier looked at as a disappointment. Ron Holland, everybody hates Ron Holland for some reason, even though he was getting like 25-5 in the G League. He was transitioning from being a post player to being a wing, and I think he's a damn good wing. And I think he has the quickest first step I've seen on that wing in a long time. But that's neither here nor there. Justin Edwards been disappointment, and he's older. DJ Wagner's been disappointment, and he's 6'2" and small. Aaron Bradshaw hardly got any burn and was injured, so he was disappointing. Modest Buzelis, people saying they see Franz Wagner. His frame is not like that. His defense is not like that. I see more of Danilo Gallinari in this game, but he's at 5. Cody Williams, in my opinion, he could be a role player. He's coming off the bench for Colorado. He's not aggressive enough. His demeanor is nothing like his brothers. No offense to Cody Williams. It's just how people view him, and they think he could be a top 5 pick or whatever. And in most draft classes, he would be like a 14th pick. He'd still be a lottery pick, but He's a role player in the NBA level, in my opinion. Jacoby Walter, he's like a KCP type of guy. Mackenzie Mbako shouldn't even come out this year. Jeremy Kane, he would be great if he was 6'5", 6'6", but he's 6'3", shooting guard. Omaha Blue didn't even get no PT at Iowa State. I don't know what's going on with him. Stephon Castle, like I said, he came on as of late, and UConn is still making a run, so he's gonna get boosted. It is what it is. Now, this 25 class, 24 high school class, 25 draft, NBA draft class, 24 high school class. Say, man, it has a chance. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna act like it don't. It got a chance to be special, bro. It has an absolute chance of being special. I think, in my opinion, Cooper Flag, oh my goodness. He just went on a crazy run. I'm gonna break it down more in depth. His high school championship run on my other channel, Diddyknowsball. I'm gonna break that down more on that channel. But that high school run, they went undefeated, ain't lost since last year. Ace Bailey, I think he's the second coming of Tracy McGrady. Now, I don't throw around Tracy McGrady comparisons lightly, bro. But Ace Bailey, the closest thing I've seen to Tracy McGrady. He really is. Like, he's a shooting guard in a power forward's body. The movement, the size. He ain't skinny. You see, he's 6'8", 210. The shot making ability from the post. Like, he got that 1 foot fade away down pat, finishing the open court, catch and shoot. I just seen him make some crazy blocks. He rebounds offensively. He's engaged defensively sometimes, most of the time. I think Ace Bailey, Cooper Flag, a creme de la creme of prospects, man. I think they're gonna go 1 and 2, depending on how college basketball goes for them. And that's another thing. They are going to make college basketball must-see TV. Cooper Flag and Ace Bailey are gonna make college basketball must-see TV. Now, Bill Simmons said Cooper Flag will be the best college player since Kevin Durant. And I don't think he's wrong. Ace Bailey, him and Dylan Harper are going to Rutgers. Dylan Harper's another guy. I think Dylan Harper, he reminds me of a Malcolm Brogdon. But just imagine if Malcolm Brogdon doesn't get hurt, like Dylan Harper is be that type of guy. VJ Edgecombe. Now, VJ Edgecombe, in my opinion, he's the wild card. I love VJ Edgecombe's game. He got a little bit of Ant Edwards in him. He got a little bit of Dwayne Wade in his game. Just the way he does the small things, the rebounds, the blocks, the transition. Now, his one-on-one scoring package is kind of lacking. He's a late bloomer when it comes to basketball. I don't think he's been playing that long. But VJ Edgecombe, athletically, motor-wise, I think he's there. I think Baylor was a great choice for him because, I think he's great coming off pin downs, catch and shoot situations, things like that, driving situations, like I said, transition, cuts. I think the one-on-one game, hopefully it comes. If it comes, and if it comes at Baylor, Trey Johnson. I like Trey. From the DFW from Dallas. I love Trey. I love it. I do. But I think athletically, he's not there. He's a big 6'6", long. The jump shot is crazy. The microwave scoring ability is crazy. I'm gonna break down what I seen in the scrimmage, what I seen in the McDonald's All-American game too. I think he's gonna be one of them ones that's gonna be extremely hit or extremely miss from game to game. He's gonna have a game at Texas where he's gonna get you 40, bro. We're gonna see Trey Johnson at Texas get you 40. But my thing is, how will it translate to the NBA level? I think Trey Johnson, he's gonna be a microwave scorer, 6 man of the year type of candidate, but I don't see him being a major cornerstone in the NBA. So I don't. So at 5, what is he at 5? I don't. I think it's some guys that should be ahead of him just in terms of NBA potential, not necessarily high school ranking. Jaleel Bethea, I got to see more of him in Miami. Isaiah Evans didn't impress me at all, neither in all American game or just All American game scrimmage. Darion Reed. Darion Reed is my dark horse. I love Darion Reed's game. He's a wing prospect. They can pretty much do it all. Master of none. Master of none. But he can pretty much do everything. He's 6'7" frame. He's long. He's athletic. Can handle the ball. Play defense. Run. So I think we get to see him in Alabama. And that Alabama recruit class is gonna be special. I like they recruiting class. They got Nazir Cunningham going over there. So I like it. Fiore Bidunga. I love Fiore Bidunga. He stood out to me in the scrimmage and he stood out to me in the All-American game. He just his hands, his shot blocking timing, his finishing. Like the I love a big that can catch in traffic and finish. And Bidunga, he checks every box. He's mobile. I love his game. Derek Queen go be college great. He gonna be great in college. I don't know how he'll translate to the NBA. Liam McNeely. Liam McNeely is another wild card guy who I want to see. I wish he would have stayed in Indiana. If we'd have got Mackenzie Mbako, Bryson Tucker, who's not on this list, he's further down, but I love his game. I think he's the best one-on-one scorer in high school. But Liam McNeely, I think he's like a Klay Thompson. He's the closest thing to Klay Thompson that I've seen. 6'8" frame, not scared to put the ball on the deck, drive or close out. Good off pin down, just good shooter. He can get unconscious. I think at times he was Montbert's best player, especially offensively. So and then I think he has the size to defend. He ain't no Grady Dick, no homo, no Diddy. I hate that saying because I'm Diddyknowsball. It's just when I try to launch a career, he go and do all that. But whatever. No Diddy. Liam McNeely, I think he the closest thing to Klay Thompson. He has a bigger frame than a guy like Grady did. And I just think he's in that mode. I think he'll be able to actually guard some guys defensively. I love this 25 NBA draft class, this 24 high school class. I just absolutely love it. But like I said, you never know. You never know. Now, I pretty much went through all the guys I like, and I pretty much said everything. But now let's get to the high school McDonald's All-American scrimmage. I think Ian Jackson was absolutely fantastic. I thought Cooper Flagg played terrible. Isaiah Evans did not impress me one bit. Gotta see him at Duke. Gotta see more from him. Carter Bryant, you would have think he was Kevin Knox brother instead of Carter Knox. You would have thought Carter Bryant was Kevin Knox brother. If they say, hey, Kevin Knox brother is playing and he's an All-American, McDonald's All-American, you would have thought it was Carter Bryant. Because Carter Bryant has the size, the athleticism, all the tools. But he plays solid defense. But outside of that, he didn't make no plays in the scrimmage or the McDonald's All-American game that would just match what you think he could be. If you just look at him and see him run up and down the court. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Isaiah Evans, he just seems skinny. He get Brandon Ingram comparisons just off that, I guess. He's definitely had made buckets in high school, but when you in these scrimmages, when you in these All-American games, that's when you show off that scoring package. I feel like he struggled to create separation. And maybe it just will look better in organized situations. Liam McNeely, we seen what he did in the scrimmage, even though it wouldn't have counted in a real game. He hit the game winner. Like, he looked amazing on that play. Like I said, Derek Queen, He dominated. Derek Queen really was dominating, bro. Scrimmage in the game. Scrimmage in the game. I think Derek Queen at Maryland, he gonna be a problem, bro. Great hands. He's became more mobile. Good passer, good rebounder, low post scoring. I just think, yeah, he's one of the ones. He's one of the ones. Yeah, Cooper Flag, I think I'm mostly disappointed in him. Disappointed in him. He didn't have the greatest scrimmage or McDonald's All-American game. He just didn't. I think that's really not his thing. He looked like he was trying to show people what he could do one-on-one, where he's more of a team player. He's more going to have a team impact. Like, I look at him like an Andre Iguodala mixed with a pinch of Kawhi mixed with some Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward mixed with Kawhi mixed with Iguodala. Few qualities of all those type of guys. And I think he's more of a team player than he'll look as good. He didn't look as good as Ace Bailey, but Ace Bailey is meant for these one-on-one situations. He's meant for these all-star games, and he looks better in those situations. I think Cooper Flag looks better in organized basketball settings than the NBA's organized basketball settings, regardless of popular belief. But yeah, that's what I say about that. I think Trey Johnson in the scrimmage, that free throw stuff, that his basketball IQ on that situation was just bad. He missed the game winner in the All-American game. Tough week for Trey. He was going off in the All-American game though. He was hitting shot after shot after shot. But I just think he lacks an IQ. He lacks an athleticism for it to translate to the NBA level. But I guarantee you he's going for 40 in college at Texas. Ian Jackson was probably the most impressive. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on the 2024 NBA draft class, the 2023 high school class, the 2024 high school class, 2025 NBA draft class. I know it gets confusing. I'm sorry. And then I updated the 2020 class and the 2021 class. The last class they said was weak was 2020. And 2021 is supposed to be special. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the 24 NBA draft and the 25 NBA draft. But yeah, that's enough of that. It's time to talk about Embiid and the 76ers. Everybody who knows me knows I'm not the biggest Joel Embiid fan. But I've been monitoring the 76ers lately, bro. And let me tell you why. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Joel Embiid fan, but let's keep it above. Before he got hurt, bro was front runner for the MVP. Looked like the best player in the league. Looked like the best two-way player in the league. Looked like the best one-on-one offensive player in the league. He was dominating. Bro. He was dominating. I ain't gonna lie. He was dominating. He was about 35 points a game. Not to mention his rebounds and assists. '76ers just looked really good pre-injury. I think they was a top 3 team in the East. They had wins against Boston. They beat Boston in like November. They beat the Timberwolves. They beat the Nuggets. Those were the 3 top teams in the whole NBA at the current point. And they should have beat the Bucks if it wasn't for Dame's shot. I think that was the opening game. But yeah, I'm saying all this to say this. Joel Embiid is back. He's back. And it means a lot because a lot of people thought they should have shut Joel Embiid down. A lot of people thought they should just hang it up next year, try to go get Paul George or something like that. I was seeing all that. And I was even in the camp, man, shut them down. Them niggas ain't finna win nothing. They're not finna win nothing. But, well, and it was mainly, it was, I'm not gonna act like it wasn't justified because they weren't winning. He went down, they started plummeting. They record started going down the drain. They went all the way down to like the eighth seed. Went all the way down to the play-in from like the third or fourth spot in the East. And let's keep it a buck. This team was built for Joel Embiid, to play with Joel Embiid. They wasn't built to even sustain without him at all. And they failed their understandings. And everybody thought they was done, including me. I thought they were done. They should have been done. Thought they were gonna shut Embiid down, try it again next year. But the interesting thing about this is, if you look at the Eastern Conference, it's a lot of questions. It's a lot of questions in the Eastern Conference, man. From the Celtics, who can't close to save their life in these close games against good teams. You got the Bucks. Who's been on the losing streak, and they've been losing to bad teams. You got Doc Rivers coming out saying it's inexcusable. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers, who just got destroyed by the Lakers, and I don't know what's going on with them. It looked like less is more with them. They got players back, and they've been only worse. Now, I know Isaac Okoro's out. I know Dean Wade is out. Those are key pieces, but you got your core. You got Donovan Mitchell. I get he's been playing with that mask. He's a little hurt. You got Darius Garland, who's been horrible. You got Evan Mobley, and you got Jared Allen. Now, I think Jared Allen has been having an amazing year. But whatever. You got Cleveland Cavaliers, they're a mess right now. They done lost a couple in a row. Bucks lost 3 in a row. Then you got young upstart teams like the Pacers. You got the Knicks. The Knicks. The injuries for the Knicks is just devastating. It's devastating. No Julius Randle. We never know when OG's going to play. We ain't seen OG, like, we've been having OG health concern questions since 2019. Let's just keep it up. 2019, 2018. We never know when OG's going to be available. His availability is always up in the air. Let's just keep it up. So, with all that being said, there's a crack in the door, man. There's a crack in the door for the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid. I think they can get that 6th spot. I don't think they can pass Orlando, but I do see a world where they can pass up Miami. They can pass up Indiana. They just beat Miami. They've been 3-0 since Joel Embiid came back. They done beat the Thunder, albeit they didn't have SGA and J-Dub. They beat the Heat. That was a good quality win. And I know Joel Embiid hasn't been super efficient since he's been back, but his presence is definitely felt. The Heat game was very big because we seen Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Now, I want to see. Let me try to see how much points they combine for, because I know pre-injury they was combining for almost 61 points a game together, man. Joel Embiid was getting about 35, and Maxey was getting about 25, 26. There's an argument to be made that fully healthy Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey is the best duo in the Eastern Conference. And the Eastern Conference is still up for grabs, in my opinion. I'm not one of those guys that just think Boston Celtics have it wrapped up. Now, how Joel Embiid plays in the playoffs, that's still remain to be seen. So I don't really trust him in the playoffs. But I do think he has an argument for the best player in the conference. They got an argument for the best duo in the conference. Now, I think I would pick them to beat Boston before I pick them to beat Milwaukee, just because you got Brook Lopez, you got Giannis. I think they could wear down Embiid. Now, Boston, we seen Al Horford play Embiid tough, but Porzingis, you got Kornet, Tillman. I don't think they can do nothing with Embiid. But hey, it's a crack in the door. I'm not saying they can win the Eastern Conference. I mean, I'm not saying they will win the Eastern Conference, but I'm saying they got a puncher's chance, bro. 76ers got a puncher's chance, because I will put them over Cleveland with a healthy Embiid. I'll put them over Orlando with a healthy Embiid. I'll put them over the Knicks without OG and without Julius Randle. And for everybody talking, I'm one of them who was talking all that shit about Julius Randle and what he is and what he ain't. Man, the Knicks sorely miss him, man. For all his flaws, they miss him flaws and all. But I'm just saying, dog, don't count out Joel Embiid and these 76ers, bro. They got a punch a chance, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get to a conference finals. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Boston or Milwaukee. I wouldn't be surprised if they get their 6th seed. I'm just saying, man. I'm not looking over them dudes, bro. I'm not. Hey, let's look at their schedule. They schedule. They got who they got coming up. So the 76ers, they got the Spurs tonight because I'm recording this at 8:43 on Sunday, April 7th. Sunday, April 7th, 8:43 a.m. They got the Spurs later today. They got the Pistons, they got the Magic, and then the Nets. I'm just saying, man, the only team that they could possibly lose to or should possibly lose to is the Magic. They should roll the Spurs, the Pistons, and the Nets, man. I don't know what Tobias Harris injury status is, but they had him listed as day to day, so he should be ready for the playoffs, maybe the last couple games. So there is that. But man, when Philly was rolling, they was easily a top 3 team in the East. Joel Embiid's back. He's looking good enough. And if he hit his stride in the playoffs, man, don't be surprised if Philly makes a run, man. Joel Embiid is a special talent. Tyrese Maxey is a top second option in the league. He's one of the top second options in the league, man. And when you got a duo that can combine for over 60 points, got a chance. Kelly Oubre, he was good in that Heat game. He helped contribute. Like, yeah, man, that Heat game was a hell of a game, man. Let me go back and look because I gotta look at some of these stats real quick. So the Philly won the Heat game 109-105. Tyrese Maxey had 37, Joel Embiid had 29. So let me bring out the calculator. I'm not good with math off the top of my head. What is that? So 37, bro, I'm so slow. 37 plus 29, 66. 66 points. They combined for 66 points. What other duo that say, man, I'm just saying, bro, I'm not even gonna see it. I just think Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey is a hell of a duo. Joel Embiid coming back and being in pre-injury form, MVP form with this weekend East due to injuries, due to inconsistency in play from Boston in the clutch against good teams and the Bucks against everybody. Inconsistent play. I think 76ers have a puncher's chance, bro. 76ers have a puncher's chance. We were seeing potentially after the Nuggets game earlier in the season how it could possibly be a Jokic versus Embiid finals. Y'all remember that? Oh, quick, how y'all forget. I'm just saying, don't count out Joel Embiid. Don't count out Philly, even though I'm not the biggest Joel Embiid fan. I'm just saying, they got a punch chance. Now, moving on to my last topic, boxing. Richard Hitchins versus Lemos. Richardson Hitchins. I always want to say Richardson Hitchison for some reason, but Richardson Hitchins versus Gustavo Lemos. Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not the biggest boxing fan in the world. It's like my third sport after basketball and football. I'm a little bit more than a casual, but I don't know the role players of boxing. For example, I know all the stars. I know all the top contenders. I know all the top prospects. But I don't know the role players of boxing. For example, let me say this. Like in the NBA, I know who Aaron Wiggins is. You feel me? I know who Denny Avdia is. But I wouldn't expect just the average NBA basketball fan to know those guys. So forgive me for not knowing who Gustavo Lemos is. And I know Richardson Hitchins because I listen to a lot of the boxing channels. Shout out 903 Boxing. Shout out Knockout Boxing. Shout out Greg Hackett and YSM Sports Media. So I knew who Richardson Hitchins was, but this was my first time getting to see him live. Um, I heard the talk. He was saying he needs to be mentioned with the top guys. I heard him talk about the rehydration clause that he wanted about the IBF championship. Sabril Matias. Heard what he had to say about Devin Haney. And I wanted to check him out. He was talking that talk. People are very critical of him because he doesn't go for knockouts. He try to outbox you. He fights pretty safe. And the Gustavo Lemos fight, Richardson Hitchins versus Gustavo Lemos. When I watched this fight, I wasn't just super impressed with Richardson Hitchins, but he earned my respect. Gustavo Lemos, he was coming after him, bro. He was coming after him. The first 2 rounds was easy to score. They went to Lemos, but I feel like as the fight went on, Richardson Hitchins outboxed him pretty much plain as day. I did see in the 8th round when Lemos looked like he hurt Hitchins, but what people is not trying to say is in that same 8th round, Hitchins came back and he fought him. 10th round, that was the best round of the fight. Hitchins won that round. And then he continued to outbox Lemos. He clinched a lot. I'm not the biggest fan of the clinching, but it's understandable. It's boxing. You fight to win. Now, on the other side of that, I do think he had more. He don't have of the variety of punches that you want to see in a top guy. Shout out 903 Boxing again. He said it, and I seen it. He doesn't have too many punches. He doesn't have a variety of punches. He got that jab, and it's a power jab, but he really didn't go to the body in this fight with that jab. He didn't throw no uppercuts like that. I didn't see him. No uppercuts. I thought he had opportunities for more body shots and more uppercuts, more inside fighting, like people have been seeing. And it's just me watching, with just like, damn, why he ain't throw no uppercuts? Like, damn, why he ain't hitting them to the body, throwing a 2-3 punch combination, a jab to the body, a uppercut, get out the way. Double jab, uppercut, get out the way. Like, why he's not stringing some of these together? But I will say this: he didn't get dropped by Lemos. The fight wasn't as boring as the Shakur versus De Los Santos fight, and it was points where Richardson Hitchins was fighting back. He was fighting back. Like that 10th round, I love how Richard Hitchins fought in that 10th round, man. He looked amazing in that 10th round. Now, I wish he would have kept that up, but then he just, he outpointed Lemos. I don't think Lemos was landing a lot of those shots that everybody was trying to claim he was. A lot of those shots was missing. And I don't know. But I do feel what people are saying. Richardson Hitchins say, man, if you want to fill out these seats, you want to fill these arenas, you want to get your name out there, you got to start knocking people out. That's just the fight game. A lot of people are casuals. You make money off casuals. Hardcore fans gonna be hardcore fans, but you got to start trying to get in the casuals pockets. The people that don't know as much, the people that are trying to get into boxing, don't know who to watch, don't know who to follow. Because I wouldn't have known about this fight if I didn't follow some of these YouTubers, if I didn't just so happen to be like, oh, the zone, Richardson Hitchins finna fight. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just super highly promoted, super highly talked about. So you have to damn near be in the know to know about this fight. I just so happen to be in the know. And this is my first time watching Richardson Hitchins. Like I said, I give him about a C plus B minus on his performance. I thought this was a tough fight for him. I thought this was a good fight for him. I don't know how much the rehydration, the 10-pound rehydration, affected him. But all in all, he talked a lot of shit, just like Shakur. But the fight was better, more action packed. He clinched a lot, but he also jabbed a lot. He fought. And I think, the first couple rounds easy for Lemos, so that probably built a bigger impression in people's minds. But I think Richardson Hitchins won this fight. Wasn't the most exciting in the world, but it wasn't the most boring in the world. I'm interested to see who his next opponent will be. I don't think he's ready for Devin Haney. I don't think he's ready for Subriel Matias. I think the fight for him is Isaac Cruz, because if you could beat Isaac Cruz, that'll show me, and especially in a convincing way, that'll show me if you're ready for Matias, because I think Matias is a better boxer than Cruz. I think he could beat T.O. I just don't think he's ready for Devin Haney. 140 got some dogs, bro. 140 got some dogs. And Richardson Hitchins, he's still on my watch list. Like Shakur, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to tune into his next fight. But Richardson Hitchins, in this crowded division, I would even like to see him fight Regis Prograis. Throw in Regis Prograis in there with Richardson Hitchins. And I want to see that fight. And then I want to see him in a title fight with either T.O. or Isaac Cruz. And then if he can win that, let's say Regis Prograis let's say Richardson Hitchins beat Regis Prograis, then he beat Isaac Cruz. Then I would like to see him against a Matias or T.O. or Haney. But yeah, man, I'm interested. I didn't think this was the greatest fight in the world. This wasn't the greatest introduction to Richardson Hitchins in the world. But, he boxed. And I want to see what he do next. And it just so happens to be in a cluster division with a lot of good fighters that I would want to see anyway. So if he's in the ring with one of them, I'll definitely watch. But yeah, this has been another episode of Diddyknowsball. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how y'all feel about the show in the comments. If y'all, just fuck with your boy. Follow me on Bleacher Report at Diddyknowsball. Follow me on Threads at Diddyknowsball_1. And yeah, man, message me, interact with me, man. I interact back. But this your boy, man. Hello.
Found some shit I love to do, so I can live comfortable. Searching for a peace of mind, need that when it's time to rhyme. Perfect in every line, any chance I get, and I know it takes time, but I will never quit.